Good morning, and welcome to Talk of the Town on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com.
And welcome to Talk of the Town for this Friday, May the 1st. I'm Gary Stevens. We'll be open line following the 10 and 11 o'clock news blocks. In about an hour, we'll be joined by Patty Vandenberg, What's New Around Holland. And after that, it'll be our monthly chat on the first Friday of the month with Mike Gorehouse, the president of the Community Foundation of the Holland-Zeeland area. But our first segment of the month and of the day today, we spotlight the Holland Department of Public Safety. And today we focus on police services. On the other end of our Zoom connection is Holland Police Captain Keith Mulder, and he joins us from his offices in downtown Holland. Keith, good morning, and welcome back to Talk of the Town.
Good morning, Gary. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us in the Zoom connection. And, of course, if you wish to chat with Captain Mulder, call us, 395-1450, 395-1450. Under normal circumstances, Keith, this conversation would be talking about getting things ready to protect the public for tulip time. Unfortunately, it's the new normal. We don't have to worry about that, but yet still, trying to protect the public is still nothing that can, it's still there. It's still a challenge, especially in this day and age of trying to deal with social distancing and to maintain the governor's stay home, stay safe order. It is just a little bit different now, I would assume.
Yeah, it sure is. I looked at my calendar this morning, and on there it was the topic of the day for Talk of the Town was going to be about tulip time and changes and getting around town in this coming week. So instead, I watched a video from Mayor Box this morning that basically told people, please do not come to Holland for tulip time because we can't take extra people here. So it's a little bit different.
Tell us a little bit about how that might be enforced in the sense that, let's put it this way. Those of us who get to live here or get to work here, in my case, we could go see the tulips. But let's put it this way. If you see a big bus roll in, which probably wouldn't happen anyway. No. Stay away.
Yeah, I think one of the concerns is, the tulips are going to be coming out in the next week, and it's the weather's getting better, and people just want to come out and visit, and then that's part of Mayor Box's message is please do not come to the area to visit. We don't want extra people coming into town and congregating. I know that Windmill Island is not open for visitors, for people to come in. And, we do expect to have some problems with trying to close that road down and not having people trying to get in there. So hopefully everybody understands that. And I think most people are used to this order being in effect for long enough that hopefully it's not a problem.
Talking about Windmill Island being closed, Keith Mulder, it's closed for probably a different reason than just keeping the visitors out. We've had some water problems, not only with the causeway into Windmill Island, but also we got reports South Shore Drive is having some issues. We have had reports in South Haven and in Saugatuck of roads being waterlogged. You guys got to be aware of that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting because quite a few months ago, we had talked about the concern with the causeway into Windmill Island, and if it were to flood over, and just within the last several days, that did happen, that water was over the road. Now, I haven't been in there the last day or two, so I don't know if that's gone down, but I know that there is very, very high waters nearby these roads, South Shore Drive you mentioned, and the nice thing is Pine Avenue, that's looking good. After that rain that we had, they got that pump installed there, and I know that the engineers in the street department worked very hard at getting that pump installed to be able to keep Pine Avenue clear by the curb, and that has been successful over the last several days. That has not been flooded, so that's a good thing.
If you got a question for Holland Department of Public Safety Police Captain Keith Mulder, he'll take it at 395-1450, 395-1450. How's morale been with the department because of the fact that, yes, you guys have to be on the front lines with this COVID-19 situation? We're starting to see some governmental entities having to make some budget cuts because revenues are down and the work's just not there. What about your department?
Yeah, I mean, overall, our the attitudes have been great. We got a lot of good people that work here, both at the fire department and the police department, have had great attitudes about the changes. And I think, if anything, there's just frustration with, we're kind of very separate right now. Our shifts are very separate. They don't have interaction with each other right now, and there's this kind of loss of being able to interact with the people that they normally interact with at work, and also even just the shift that they work with, they're trying to stay out of the building more and do more of their work from their cruisers, so they're not interacting as much with other people and touching things that other people are touching. So it's just different, and it's frustrating. And part of the frustration is nobody knows how long this is going to go. It's a different workplace for us right now, and everybody wants to get back to normal, but that's the case everywhere, at every workplace, I think, and every home. Everybody just says, boy, it'd be nice to get back to normal. It'd be nice to know when this is going to end. But I'll say the attitudes have been great, and we've been asking over the last week, about how people are dealing with it, and if there's anything more that we can do and try to help this go smoother. And people's attitudes have been very good, and people are happy with the steps that we've taken. So we're definitely happy with that.
Keith, I don't want to sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but certainly this is an issue that will probably be not only with us during the duration of what we're going through, which is stay home, stay safe, but possibly a little bit later, and that is dealing with domestic violence calls or domestic abuse calls or domestic issues calls. It's one thing to try to keep the morale of the officers in your department up. It's another thing when having to make the call, and we're getting more and more, perhaps, of people, needing help because they're having issues domestically right now. It's going to be a problem. I'm afraid going to be long before, long after this thing is over.
Yeah, absolutely. And, there's definitely concern right now about domestic issues happening, and also in the future as things get back to normal. I think we're going to get more reports of people that didn't feel safe reporting it when they were in the home with an abuser. That we'll get reports later, and also with child abuse, whether that's physical abuse or sexual abuse. We are very concerned that when all this ends, that kids start to have contact with other adults and other mentors, whether that's teachers, people from churches, or social workers, and we start getting reports about what was going on during this time. And that's a concern for all of us. We hope that doesn't happen, but we suspect it will, just because the more time that people have in a home with an abuser, it's just, only common sense tells you that we're going to have that happening. So, yeah, be thinking and be very conscious of people around you that might be a concern for, and we want to know about it if there is concerns.
Again, if you have a question for Holland Department of Public Safety Captain Keith Mulder, he'll be happy to take it at 395-1450, 395-1450. Another topic that will not go away, because the problem is not going to go away. It's not something we can just snap our fingers on, is dealing with at-risk youth and dealing with the gang situation. There was the big bust a few years ago that sort of made it recede. There's been some flare-ups here and there. And the fact that right now, people are staying home, staying safe, but dealing with at-risk youth and dealing with the gang situation, let's hope it's not a long, hot summer because of the fact that many of the avenues or the alternatives youths would have for not going through that lifestyle aren't there right now because of stay home, stay safe.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have seen over the last couple of weeks, there's been some situations that we've been called to where there's been drug abuse and overdose, and we've had some breaking and enterings, stolen cars. So we've seen that start to pick up again. Luckily, overall crime has not picked up yet, but we have started to see some of those things happening. We're concerned about that continuing to increase as this goes on and people start coming out more. But so far, we've been really good with our call volume. It's been low, which is great. We've been doing a lot of investigating into the complaints about the stay-at-home, stay safe order violations. But crime overall is low at this point, so it's good.
Speaking about trying to deal with the violations of the governor's stay home, stay safe order, I know that was a topic a little bit earlier when we had our chat on in April with you and Fire Chief Chris Tinney. But has that gone down a little bit, or do you still have to make the occasional check to make sure that a business is observing and obeying the governor's executive order?
Yeah, the complaints have gone down. Some of it, I think, is an awareness. Some of it is we've been responding to every complaint as far as investigating, looking into the businesses and making sure that they are an essential service and that they do have letters indicating that they produce, essential product. A lot of the complaints are about manufacturing businesses. And a lot of the problem is people don't understand all the exceptions to the order. So we look into those, and if we believe there's a violation, we'll follow up with that and send it to the prosecutor. First of all, we ask for just cooperation with shutting down, but if we think that's a continued violation, we send it to the prosecutor or the attorney general's office. But most of the people are not in violation from what we could determine, and anybody that is, for the most part, we have received good cooperation from companies and people shutting down when they're supposed to be open. But, now that the governor's orders have opened up a little bit more, I think that also helps reduce the complaints that are coming in. So.
Now, Brian, let me ask you this, Keith, and along the lines of stay home, stay safe, and the fact that right now many motorists can't get their driver's license renewed or can't get their registration tabs because the Secretary of State's offices are closed, and some have been able to do so online, but say those who've had that driver's license renewed and need to have it a fresh photo and a fresh in-person thing. Sort of remind people that right now you can get around the problem, but it's not going to be lasting forever, I'm afraid.
Yeah, there's some leniency in those areas for now. People just have to realize that don't forget to get it taken care of once the Secretary of State does open back up, because that leniency will only last until Secretary of State is back open again. So, yeah, there is definitely unique times where there's certain things that you always just assume you can get taken care of, and you can't anymore. So,
yeah, and the reason why I mentioned it with you, Keith, because people are worried about, I can't drive. I don't have my tabs, and I'm going to get pulled over, and I'm going to get a ticket, and I can't get my tabs. Right now, officers are saying, yeah, we understand. Just take care of it when it gets done.
Yep, absolutely.
395-1450, 395-1450. If you have a comment or a question to Holland Police Captain Keith Mulder, Holland Department of Public Safety Police Captain Keith Mulder, 395-1450. Volunteers, or shall we say the reserves, are still there. And of course, this was the time of the year that they shine because you guys use the reserves to handle crowd control, direct traffic, answer people's questions. Now, with no tulip time, that's not the case. But yet, the reserves are just as important as your regular officers in terms of dealing with crowds and dealing with certain situations. Eventually, they will, but right now, not right now.
Yeah, right now we're not using our reserves at all. We kind of suspended that for the time being, and also our volunteer program, just because we're trying to limit the number of people that come and go out of this building and how much contact we have with people from the outside. So, yeah, it's a temporary thing, but and right now we don't have the events going on that we typically use the reserves for. Not only tulip time, but road races or any type of large gathering crowds. We just aren't seeing those right now. So. We didn't have the need for it either. So it's a unique time with our staff here, and we also have had some retirements that are up and coming, and of course then it involves replacing those positions, and that's becoming difficult because the academies are all suspended right now. So the police academies that would normally be running, and whether they just got finished in the spring or they're supposed to run in the summer, those are on hold. So we don't know what that's going to look like as far as hiring the next round of people until we know when that's going to start up again.
Now, quick question, and maybe I don't want to be barking up the wrong tree on this, Keith Mulder, but there's no hiring freeze right now with your department, or is there right now? For example, if you need to fill some of the holes you mentioned, you just don't have the reserves coming in terms of the academy. But if you had to fill a vacancy, could you do it now, or is the Holland Department of Public Safety under the general government hiring freeze that the governor had for state workers, especially?
No, we're not under that hiring freeze. Like I say, it's more of just waiting for the right timing to do the hiring. So it's not a matter of a hiring freeze. It's just a matter of, to get those people completed with the academy, get them certified to get them going. We're not hiring any additional people right now. It's really just we have a couple of openings because of retirements. So.
And the other question, I was just thinking about it, the fact that the offices to a certain extent are out. Clarify for us exactly what is open at the police headquarters, or shall we say the public safety headquarters / the circuit court, the district court, I should say, on 8th Street. What is open? What is accessible to the public? Or is basically that building right now closed to the general public?
Yeah, it's so our lobby is closed except for basically essential services, which would be, something like where you have a complaint that you need to make with an officer. An officer will take the complaint in our lobby, or sex offender registries are happening. There's not a whole lot else besides those two things. We have a buzzer in our lobby where they can hit the buzzer and be let in if it is an essential service. But otherwise, if you have a permit or something like that you want to do, you can send it in the mail. But we don't have our lobby open for that. Same thing with the court. If somebody receives a notice from the court saying that they have to appear, they are in the court and they will allow them in by, if they have the name that they're supposed to show up. But otherwise, if you're just general public and you want to take care of a ticket or something like that, you cannot do it in person because their lobby is not open unless it's by appointment or by order that from the judge that they have to appear.
Yeah. And this time right now, a lot of the things that are open to the public and court proceedings under normal circumstances would be open to the public. Now that realm, and I'm going to be, and I fully understand, Keith, that's the Ottawa County Sheriff's Department handles the court. The only reason why I'm bringing it up to you is that you share the same building with the district court, the Holland branch of the district court under Chief Judge Brad Cano.
Yeah, they're just postponing a lot of the court trials and stuff like that, and they're doing a lot more by video, like the arraignments from the jail and stuff like that. So they can get by for a little while, but they're going to have a heavy caseload when this opens back up again because of all the postponements for court hearings and trials.
One thing that was brought up on a general basis when we started seeing not only stay home, stay safe in Michigan, but the secure, shelter in place orders nationwide, fewer vehicles, obviously, but also the fact that some of the vehicles that were on the roads were taking some liberties with the speed limit, maybe going a little faster than they should. Was that the case? Did you see that perhaps? And I say you as the Department of Public Safety see that a little bit, maybe because there are fewer cars, more people decided that who had their vehicles out decided to pull out their NASCAR cards and started putting a number on top of their vehicles and started thinking that they were on the drag strip in Martin instead of here in downtown Holland.
I'm not getting out in a cruiser these days, but I have not heard of an increase in that the officers have noticed, and I haven't seen an increase in tickets. But I can't say that hasn't happened. I wouldn't doubt that there's some of that going on, but we haven't seen an increase in our traffic stops or tickets or anything like that. So
I just was kind of wondering about that. Good morning. You're on the line with Captain Mulder.
Yes, well, this is a little different, but I was wondering, we renewed the driver's license. We got the tabs and everything, the same day, but then he had to have his picture taken, and we did this in March. and he hasn't received his driver's license. We were just wondering, who do we get in contact with about it, or what happens?
It's probably just a matter of waiting for that to get mailed in. But if you've already taken care of the renewal with the Secretary of State, it's likely in the computer system. You just don't have the actual new license issued to you yet. So it shouldn't be a problem.
Well, see, we did this before all this happened. This was the beginning of March already. And
Yeah.
he never even got them yet.
Yeah, I wish I could give you a better answer than that, but I don't know if Secretary of States would answer their phone or not, but that'd be the one to ask for sure. But I would guess that it's probably renewed in the system. You just haven't received the mail yet from them.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Appreciate the call. 395-1450, 395-1450. I think more than anything else, the Secretary of State's office has had a lot of staff cuts, and those that are still working, I think they've been diverted to the Unemployment Insurance Agency to take care of the calls from Marvin and dealing with that. That's a bigger headache right now than dealing with licenses. But again, as we mentioned before, Keith, police officers across the state, they're not going to levy citations for having expired licenses or expired tabs right now. Now, if you're driving with a suspended license, no, there's no difference. Yeah, that's an entirely different story, and you will be cited. And if it's a little bit lengthy on that, you might not be, you might have to try to find another way to go home.
Well, speaking of the driving, it's interesting. I just saw a study the other day that shows that traffic volumes are about 50% of what they typically are around Holland, which is pretty significant. And the good thing about that is there's not as many accidents happening either. So,
yeah, one of the dicier intersections, by the way, and it's not in the city of Holland, it's in the township east of here. They're working on it. That's Business 196 on 112th Avenue. They're making it a Michigan turn. Unfortunately, we had a multi-vehicle pileup earlier this week at that spot. You guys have, the department already has its own issues with intersections that can be a little bit dicey. Chicago Drive on 120th/Waverly is one of them. US 31 and 16th Street, another dicey intersection within the city limits. Washington and 32nd. We can bring all of those things up there and cause some issues. Keith Mulder, Holland Police Captain. We're out of time for this segment. Want to appreciate you joining us on our Zoom connection, and look forward to chatting with you again soon. Thank you, Keith.
Thanks, Gary. Good to see you again.
Thank you very much. That is Keith Mulder of the Holland Department of Public Safety. The video of our Zoom conversation will be on our website. Will be on our Facebook page at 99.7 and 1450 WHTC. The audio we'll have on our webpage at WHTC.com in a little bit. We will be joining Peter King with CBS News in a few moments. Patrick Nickel will follow with WHTC News. Some open line time. Patty Vandenberg at the bottom of the hour with what's new around Holland. And then we'll be chatting with Mike Orhouse of the Community Foundation of the Holland-Zeeland area.